2017 and we got some big news coming out. N64, that's what the news is. N64! The big news was that vintage game retailers say the N64 was their hottest holiday seller. So when they mention, for those who aren't aware, vintage game retailers, it means a retro video game store, a used video game store, okay? Your ma and pa shops. And those shops don't just sell retro, they sell PS4, Switch games, PS3, PS2, Xbox 360, they sell everything. So of all the consoles combined, the N64 was the top seller. The article was written by a Cecilia D'Anastasio. She is very attractive and she knows her retro games. And you all know I love my N64. I love the N64! Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I've been saying that the Super Nintendo and the N64 were the next two big consoles and games to be hitting the markets up big. And by up big, I mean prices up big. The prices are going up. You know what? The real short story is the NES was the first one to go. You got a lot of games between the $100 to $500 price mark on the NES. In particular, the $250 to $600 mark is very common, and it's still growing. The prices are still going up. I have made a video on retro game prices and why they'll keep going up. I will link that at the end of this video, possibly in the description. And that was the first console to go up in value because that was the first generation of gamers. And as the generation who grew up on that console, myself being one of them, as they grew up, they started buying those games, and they still are. However, you know, the Super Nintendo, which was also my generation, and I consider myself more so in the Super Nintendo. I was a little bit young when that NES came out. So I've been collecting Super Nintendo games up the wazoo here. I'm trying to get a full set. And I've started collecting N64 games too because they're still cheap. And they are growing quite rapidly. Check the price chart on Snowboard Kids 2, Stunt Racer 64. The list goes on. They're all going to continue to go up in value. But the N64 has been a very, very slow mover, guys. It's been the slowest moving of all the retro games, okay? Same with the PS1. But as you know, and as the article states, the Nintendo games are far more popular as a collector's item and far more durable. The cartridge-based consoles were far more durable than the PS1s. In fact, I blew through 2 PS1s back in the day because the CD-ROM reading device would always crap out on you. So in the article, the store owner also quoted saying, "This was the best year for the N64 to date," end quote. He said that they had easily sold over 100 N64 units and that they were especially popular between the age groups of 25 to 30-year-olds who had grown up with the system. Again, myself being one of those people, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you also fall into that category, or at least you're pretty dang close, maybe early 20s. So pick them up while you still can. However, I'll mention one thing before I end this video. It is getting quite common that the Chinese are just flooding the market with fakes. They're all over eBay, so if you are looking for originals, you got to check the boards on the more expensive items. And yes, the Chinese fakes flooding the market are starting to affect the prices, and they're slowing down the increase. But you know, it is what it is. They ain't making any more new authentics, so those like myself, most of us out there are after the authentics. The prices will continue to rise. It'll just be at a much slower pace had the Chinese not flooded the market, in particular with the N64 games. Just go on eBay, Super Nintendo, they're flooding the market with all the rare ones. Anyways, guys, please like the video, please smash that like button and subscribe. subscribe.